Well, hello, Fix-It fans. Hi, Brooks, Jaden, Roger. Hope y'all are doing well today. Hey, I want to apologize for something last week. I know you guys probably noticed, but I inadvertently put Preston down here, and I know he's not even a part of our class. He's in my other English class. Sorry about that, Brooks. It should have been you. Anyway, let's go over the cards that I would have given you had we been in class. The grammar cards. First of all, we talked about clause starters. We've talked about these many times, that we label these with a CL when we're doing fix-it. When, while, whereas, since, if, although, because. And remember, these words start a group of words that have a subject and a verb but can't stand alone as a sentence. They're just a clause or a phrase. Alright, and from week 25 last week, we talked about the homophone your and your. Your, Y-O-U-R, being a possessive pronoun, and your, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, being a contraction of the words you and are. Okay? This is your house or your sister, and this is you're going to the beach next month, or you're having pizza for dinner. Okay, so those are the cards that, if I see you again before the year is up, I will give those to you. Alright, let's review similes that we talked about on Tuesday. Remember, a simile uses the word like or as to compare two unrelated things, like Jaden's smile and the sunshine. We don't normally categorize them in the same category, but they share a similar characteristic. They're both bright. Excuse me. Brooks races as fast as a cheetah. Well, Brooks and a cheetah obviously are not the same. A cheetah is an animal, Brooks is a person. But they're both fast. Roger's voice and silk. They're both different entities. Silk is a fabric, and Roger's voice is the sound that comes from him. But they're both smooth. Excuse me. Also, similes can use the word like. Her eyes sparkled like diamonds, comparing diamonds and eyes. They both sparkle. Okay, so that's similes. And then we talked about metaphors. Metaphors also compare two things that aren't alike, but share a common characteristics, like America and a melting pot. They're both made of lots of things coming together. My brother's room and a disaster area. They're both similar in that things are in a disarray and there's trash and mess all over. You are my sunshine. The lake was like a mirror, reflecting the beautiful cloudless sky. Her sister, a night owl. They both stay up late at night. But notice, metaphors do not have the words like or as, like similes do. They just say something is something, or something was something, or you are. Okay? Those are metaphors. So you're going to be required in the future to write a metaphor in your paper and a simile in your paper. Alright, let's get on with our fix-it. Let me read the story first, and then we'll talk about it. When he finished, they thanked their old friend heartily for all his kindness. It was agreed that the poor soldier, who had already suffered from the power of the apple, should undertake the task. The next day he costumed himself as a son of a gardener and hurried to the palace of the king. He boldly declared he had apples to sell so exquisite and juicy that they had never been enjoyed there before. All right. The plot is thickening and the princess is going to get her due. Right, Jaden? All right, let's talk about these vocabulary words. Heartily. Heartily means warmly or affectionately. Undertake means to take upon oneself to do a particular task. Costumed means to disguise or to dress up as. And exquisite means excellence, of rare excellence. All right, here we go. Day 1, paragraph, new paragraph starter. Capitalize the W in when, which is a clause. He is a pronoun, finished is a verb. They is a pronoun, thanked is a verb. There, we're choosing this there, because this is the possessive pronoun. It's talking about their old friend. Whose old friend? The soldiers, right? Old is an adjective, friend is a noun, and heartily is an ly adverb. For all his kindness, this is a prepositional phrase. For is the preposition, his is a pronoun, and kindness is the noun. Keep in mind with your prepositional phrases, you'll have a preposition, and then you have a pronoun and a noun, sometimes an article, but never a verb. And don't forget your period at the end of the sentence. All right, D2. Capitalize it, which is a pronoun. Was is a verb. Agreed is a verb. Was is a helping verb. Was agreed. The is an article. Poor is an adjective. Soldier is a noun. Don't forget your comma here because you have a who-which clause. You need a comma before your who-which clause and then again at the end. The who-which clause is who had already suffered from the power of the apple. Okay, that adds more information to tell about the soldier, which soldier it was. Had is a verb. Suffered is a verb. Helping verb, main verb. Here's another prepositional phrase. From is a preposition, the is an article, power is a noun. Another prepositional phrase, of the apple. Of is a preposition, the is an article, and apple is a noun. Should is your verb, undertake is your verb. Undertake is the main verb, should is the helping verb, should undertake. The is an article, and n, the noun, is task. Period at the end as usual. All right, new paragraph because you see the indentation. Capitalize the T in the word the, which is an article. Next is an adjective describing day, which is a noun. He is a pronoun. Costumed is a verb. Himself is a pronoun. Here's a prepositional phrase, as a son. As is a preposition. A is the article. Son is a noun. Another prepositional phrase, of a gardener. Of is a preposition. A is an article. Gardener is the noun. We're going to change this son of a gardener to gardener's son. So we'll write gardener, apostrophe S, son, and cross out son of a gardener. I'll give you a minute to do that. Alright, then we have and is a coordinating conjunction. Hurried is a verb. And to is a preposition, which means we're going to have another prepositional phrase here, to the palace. The is an article, palace is a noun. And then we have another prepositional phrase starting with of. The is an article, king is a noun. We're going to change the palace of the king to the king's palace. So cross out the palace of and add an apostrophe S to king and add the word palace at the end with a period. And of course palace is a noun. Okay, so that will read, and they hurried to the king's palace when you do your rewrite. Alright, number 4, capital he, which is a pronoun. Boldly is an ly adverb. Declared is a verb. He is a pronoun. Had is a verb. Apples is a noun. To sell is an infinitive verb, which we're not marking at this time. Exquisite is an adjective. And is a coordinating conjunction, one of those fanboys. Juicy is an adjective. They is a pronoun. Had is a verb. Been is a verb, and enjoyed is a verb. Enjoyed is the main verb. Had and been are helping verbs. This time we're going to pick this there because this there indicates a place. The place where they had never been enjoyed. It was there at the palace. And then don't forget your period at the end of the sentence. Okay? So your homework, part of your homework is going to be to rewrite this and add it to your story. Alright, now we're going to switch gears here to your workbook. So if you get your workbook out, we are going to talk about your new writing project, which is going to be a story about Pompeii and Mount Vesuvius. And I've got a map here just to show you where this story takes place. It takes place in Italy, and I'm going to read you the background information, but just to give you a perspective of where Italy is, it's in the Mediterranean Sea, and this particular area right here is called the Tyrrhenian Sea, and this is the city of Pompeii, which is near the city of Naples, which I'm told, Jaden, your dad used to live there when he was a young man. That's pretty cool. So the borders of Italy, there's France over here, and Switzerland, and Germany, and Austria, Croatia, and Bosnia. And if you go this way, you'll get to Greece, which is where Alexander the Great was from. And then if you go in that direction, you get to Israel. In that direction, you get to Egypt. And if you go south, directly south, you get to the continent of Africa. So this is where the story takes place. Let me read you the background information. Pompeii was a resort city near the Bay of Naples. People came there to vacation and enjoy the sun, the scenery, and the entertainment. In August, they also came for the annual festival celebrating the Roman god Vulcan, because Pompeii was located about 5 miles from Mount Vesuvius, which they believed to be the home of their god Vulcan. Vulcan was the Roman god of volcanoes, fire, metalworking, and the forge. During this festival, people built huge bonfires. It was their way of asking Vulcan not to allow their crops to be destroyed by fire. The day after such a festival, in AD 79, disaster struck. Now you know that AD 79 means it was 79 years from the time that Jesus was born. Okay? First, there were several small earthquakes, but most people thought very little of these. Then the mountain erupted and sent a blast of black ash and rock so high into the sky that it could be seen hundreds of miles away. People said it looked like a huge black pine tree rising up. Some people in Pompeii fled immediately, but others were curious. They did not realize the danger. Those who stayed were soon buried alive by a 100-mile-per-hour flow of poisonous gases, melted rock, and ash. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever been 100 miles an hour, but that's pretty fast. What do you think, Brooks? Okay, while the flow killed all life in Pompeii, it preserved the city almost perfectly. In the 1700s, archaeologists dug it out. Now, the 1700s is the years before America was first founded at Jamestown and Plymouth. Okay, they were founded in, well, it was actually the beginning of America. Plymouth and Jamestown were in the 1600s. So this was about the time when our nation was just beginning. Some archaeologists went and dug up the remains of the city of Pompeii. They found a forum, shops, homes, clay pots, mosaics, jewelry, and much more still intact. Much of what we know about life in ancient Rome has come from studying these remains. The excavated city of Pompeii is a popular tourist attraction today. So, that's the background information, and you can look over it again if you want. It's on page 113 in your workbook. And you can also use that information to add details to your paper, if you'd like. All right, so today we're going to be talking about the keyword outline for the story you're going to be doing about Pompeii and Mount Vesuvius. It's going to be the same type of story that you did before, where you look at the pictures and you decide what's happening in the picture, and that's your central fact for this paragraph. First picture, we have a couple standing here looking at this great big bonfire. You notice the mountain in the background. There's a few clouds in the sky. And notice the water here. They're on the beach because Pompeii was near the ocean, near the Tyrrhenian Sea. And there's also other people standing around. So you can use all those things to add information to your first paragraph. In the second picture, we have the same man and woman, presumably, in a building. There could be their home or their hotel, their inn, wherever they were staying. and the furniture seems to be shaking, and they have expressions on their face like of terror. They don't know what's happening. And notice out the window you see the mountain in the background, and the smoke is starting to rise. Now in the third picture, they're outside. The mountain is fuming and spewing out lots of ash at this point, and they are terrifyingly trying to get away in their chariot or wagon, perhaps, with their 2 horses. Okay, so that's what's happening in the 3 pictures. You may interpret that a little differently than I did, and that's okay. Now, when you go to write your keyword outline, take note of these words over here: who, what, when, where, how, why. Who is this story about? What was happening? Where were they? How did it happen? Why did it happen? When was this happening? What were they thinking or feeling? What were they doing or saying? What happened before this or after this? Were they outside? Were they inside? These are all ideas to help you think about what to write in your paragraphs. Okay, so the central fact of the first paragraph is that these 2 people, I'm going to name them Claudius and Cassia. Try to think of some Roman names for your characters. You can Google Roman names, and you can find lists of names that are popular Roman names. Okay, so I put Claudius and Cassia are looking at the fire. Okay. Secondly, describing the day. It was a beautiful August day. And where did I get August from? That was from the background information that I read to you earlier that's on page 113. Next I have they were on vacation in Pompeii. Okay, they were having a good time. Then I have others enjoying the day at the beach or the ocean side or the seaside because of the other people in the background and the ocean. And then I have a little ear here representing the fact that they heard rumbling from Mount Vesuvius. You could draw a little mountain if you wanted to. But we still only have 2 words here because mount is an abbreviation, from is an abbreviation, and this is a symbol. And then my last sentence is going to be the clincher. And remember that in every paragraph, your last sentence should reflect or repeat 2 to 3 words from your first sentence. Okay, every paragraph has a clincher. Okay, so and I have enjoying the fire. Suddenly enjoying the fire was much less important because things are starting to happen that aren't normal. So I'm repeating fire, and I will probably add the word enjoying the fire up here, so that would be my second word that I'm repeating. Okay? So in each paragraph you have to have a clincher that repeats or reflects the central fact of what's happening. And then at the very end of your paper, your last clincher will repeat or reflect 1 to 3 words from your title, which we'll save and we'll make our title at the end so that we can match it up with our last sentence in the whole paper. Okay? You guys know how to do this. You've been doing it for a while now. So your homework is to write your keyword outline, all 3 paragraphs. You can use some of my ideas if you want, but I'd like you to try to make the story yours. Choose your own names and your own slant on what's happening in these pictures. Okay? So your homework is to rewrite the fix-it sentences, add to your story, and then to do the keyword outline for all 3 paragraphs. Okay, and don't forget, if you haven't done already, that today is the day for the preposition quiz on sections 1 through 3. All right, you got this. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.